Hello everyone, my name is Ela Stewart and I am the member of Lyon's technical support team. Welcome to our second webinar dedicated to introduction of our newly developed crew scheduling panel. It will take approximately 45 minutes, and throughout the webinar you are encouraged to ask questions, which will be addressed by Andrew, the leader of our IT team responsible for developing the crew panel. Today we'll cover the following. First of all, the overall layout of the panel. Then we'll take a look at how to assign crew members to flights and duties. We'll go over the details of some additional options available there. And finally, I'll point out some benefits of using crew panel versus the old tools available for crew planning. I will also highlight features we want to introduce to crew panel in the future. Let me now switch and share my screen so that we can take a look at crew panel interface layout first. In terms of the layout of the interface, the panel is divided into two main sections. The top section lists aircraft and blocks representing flights. It is similar to the timeline from the ops section. The traffic light color scheme tells us about the status of flight preparation in terms of crew preparation. The green means there's a full set of crew assigned to a flight. Orange means there is some crew assigned to the flight, but there are still some crew missing. Red means there are no crew assigned to the flight yet. The stripy kind of blocks, just like in the ops section, they represent options. Brown line represents either maintenance or AOG. The bottom section lists crew members with duties and flights assigned to them. On the left, we can open up a filter with 3 tabs: person, aircraft, and show. And through the filter, basically, we can select what we want to see on the screen. The top line here, in the top line here, we can select the date range we want to see. We can also select either UTC or the base time. There is also publish button. This may not be visible to all operators at the moment. This can be enabled in settings section. So it can be either manual publication or automatic publication. Just bear in mind that once you select manual publication in settings, settings can be accessed through this icon here. Once you select the manual publication, it will take approximately 24 hours for it to take place, because the FTLs of the crew members need to be recalculated at night. And there's button send notifications. Basically, once we publicate the changes, the notifications, a simple email will get sent to all crew members with a PDF of the roster attached with the email. In the top right corner here, we have the maximize and minimize buttons. We also have a helpful legend pop-up where you can basically see all the elements of crew panel with some explanation. Of course, more detailed explanation is available in our manual. In the bottom line here, you can see details of flights. So this is in terms of the layout. Now, if we look at assigning crews to flights, and duties. This can be easily done by right-clicking on a given flight and going to Assign Crew. You can select either one sector, or by holding Control key, we can select several sectors to which we want to assign crew members. It is also possible to hold Shift key and select range of flights. So now if I click the first and the last sector I wanted to assign crew to, all of them will get highlighted. So if I go to Assign Crew, Assign Flight Crew pop-up appears. From this pop-up here, we can select different bases. Normally, by default, the sector, if the first sector of the flight I have selected was, let's say, Warsaw, in this case Warsaw, by default, the Warsaw base will show up. If we don't have any crew in that base, all bases will show by default. From the different tabs, I can now select either cockpit, cabin, maintenance, or other crew. It takes a little bit for the FTL to load. And again, in this pop-up, there's a sort of traffic light color scheme. Again, we have green, which means the FTLs for these crew members are okay. We have red, which basically tells me that there is some sort of FTL violation. There is also orange available, which probably does not appear in this instance here. Orange would indicate that there is a rest, not sufficient rest to perform the flights. So if I now select, say, these 6 sectors, and I want to assign crew members, I'll wait for the FTLs. I'll select my crew members and click Assign Crew. Once I click on the Assign Crew button, just hold on a second, it is loading. Okay, the crew members that were assigned to these flights, they will appear with the pink background here in the interface. If I now sort it by leg, probably, yeah, now you can see it better. Of course, this is available only for those operators who have the manual publication enabled. For the operators who have the automatic publication, this does not show. Basically, the flights will just appear on the rosters, and if the send notification button was marked, the notifications will get sent to crew members. In this case here, we can see that these flights are in a draft mode, so they are not visible to crew members yet. This line here indicates the rest required for the next duty to be performed. So basically, after these 3 sectors here, the crew needs to rest until 22:30 before he can perform the next flight. If I now click Publish, a pop-up appears. Of course, I need to select a date range for the publication. In this case, because we are working with August, I need to select August. And we have the crew members for which I have assigned. Again, they're showing up in different tabs. So I have 3 cockpit crews and 2 cabin crews. I can deselect crew members I do not want the publication to be done yet. But in this case, we'll publish all crew members. Here we can see the publication progress. It is usually taking few seconds. Published successfully. So now, after I have published the flights, after approximately 6 minutes, the crew members will receive the notifications. Another way of assigning crews to flights is by copying and pasting. So, for example, if I wanted to assign crew members, same crew members, let's see, I can see in the crew details that I have these crew members on this flight, and I want to copy the same crew members from this sector to any other sectors, I can go to copy crew. I have the information that crew was copied. I can select, say, these 3 sectors and go to paste crew. Shortcut keys are also available. So here I am copying these 2 crew members. Again, I can deselect the crew member I don't want to copy to the flights, but in this case I want to copy both. So I click assign crew, and again I have these crews with the pink background here telling me that this is a draft mode, and it is not in their rosters yet until I click publish. In a similar way, I can now work on adding duties. Basically, to add a duty to any of the crew members, I right-click on a given day. So in this case, for this crew member, I am adding a duty. If I right-click, I can either add positioning, I can add a duty, or quick add duty. If I were to add duty, I am selecting the duty I want to add. Say, I want to add a simulator duty. A pop-up, add duties pop-up shows up, in which I can make some changes. I can change the airport, the time. I can add different dates. For example, if I want to repeat the same duty for several days, if I, for example, select it from 7th to 8th of August, basically this duty will be added for 7th and 8th of August. I can also add additional crew members. I can add some notes that will be visible to the crew. And after I click add duty, the simulator is added here. Now, I can see I have a red line. What does the red line tell me? The red line tells me that there is FTL violation. If I now right-click on FTL details, I can see what sort of violation there is. I can see that the duty is maxed out and the rest after duty. I can also go to FTL sheet report, and this will give me more detailed information on what is wrong with this duty. Okay, so since I see I'm adding a duty which will cause some violation, I can now click delete from duty, and again this disappears. Once I delete the duty before publication, the pink background disappears. So basically I know that, okay, I have reversed to what was done before. What else is available here? Okay, the red lettering on some of the duties tell me that this is a request from a crew member for a particular duty. So I can now see that this crew member has requested 3 days off or 4 days off, and to approve that, I will need to add the same duty to the roster. Now this is after I click publish, this is approved. If I don't want to approve it, basically I can add another duty and this will overwrite his requests. Okay, I have mentioned that. Okay. In terms of other options available here, if I right-click on a given crew member code in the left panel here, there are three options available at the moment. I can either move up that crew member to the top. Let's say I want to work on several crew members and I want to have them all on top, so I can move them up and they will just jump to the top of the screen here. There's also a possibility to add a new crew member. This is possible from this section. I can also edit particular crew member from this section. So for example, if I were to edit this crew member, Steve Davies, I can go to edit cell and I can edit his details in the profile page. From the menu, if I right click on a given flight, this also gives me a simple menu which allows me to either delete the entire crew from a given flight. So if I were to delete entire crew from this leg, I would just right click it, click delete, confirm it, and there are no crew members on this flight any longer. I can also check crew details. Of course, this will give me all the details that are available in the profile page. So it's good to have all the details filled out in each crew member's profile pages. I can also use the sort by leg function. Sort by leg, if I click it, will basically throw all the users, all the crew members that are assigned to this particular leg to the top top section, top half of the page. So I can basically see all the crew members that are assigned to this particular sector. If I now right click on a particular flight that is already assigned to a crew member, I can do the same thing. I can again sort by leg, so I can see who is flying with this crew member. I can add positioning. Okay, in terms of positioning, the sort of zigzaggy lines, red zigzaggy lines next to duties and flights, they tell me that there is some sort of airport discontinuity, which to crew planner is an information that positioning needs to be added. So if I now, for example, in the case of this crew member, I know that his duty is in Katowice, but his next sector he's flying starts from Warsaw. So I will need to reposition the crew member to another city. I can either add positioning from the flight, or I can right click. If I want to reposition him the day before, I can right click on the given day here and add positioning. Let's say I want to reposition him from to Warsaw. I don't know, probably take approximately 2 hours. And once I add positioning, I am repositioning the crew member from Katowice to Warsaw. Another option is to delete from flight. If I click delete from flight, it will delete the crew member, only this one crew member from the flight. If I now hold Control key and I select these two flights, I can delete the crew member from these two sectors. Confirm, and he has been deleted. FTL details I have mentioned already in this even if there are no any violations, you can also check the details. Another useful feature, which I have actually forgot to mention, when you assign crew, on each of the crew members tile, you can see the cumulative block hours per month and per year. This is useful if you want to avoid any block time exceedance, or basically you want to compensate some crew members who have not flown as much as the others. And here we have also an example of rest violation. So the crew member flashing in orange, it tells me there is a rest violation. So the crew probably should not be assigned to the flight. Okay. In terms of benefits of using crew panel, although seemingly more daunting and complicated than the other crew planning tools available in Lyon, it actually has several benefits. First of all, it offers quicker planning solutions, as there's no need to switch between the pages to assign flights and duties. Before, in crew duties, you were assigning duties, and from another side, you were assigning flights. Here, you can assign both duties and flights. Also, you can work with drafts if you have that enabled in the settings. Another very good benefit is the fact that the certain duties can overlap midnight. Basically, in the other page, it was impossible to show it clearly, duties that overlap midnight. Let me give you an example of that. If I now click Add Duty, let's say we want to add aircraft duty that starts at 2300 and goes on to 3 the next day, and I click Add. I can now see that this duty starts on the 6th of August and ends on the 7th. So it is very easy to show duties overlapping midnight. Also, very good benefit is basically the general overview of what all crew members are doing. So for example, if I see I have several flights available here for assigning crews, I can tell at one glance what all crew members are doing at a given moment. So this is a very, very good feature. Now, in terms of future developments, we'll be looking at adding history of changes. So basically, anyone who makes any change on assigned duty or flight, this will be easily accessible by going to history of changes, similar in the ops section now. So this will be one of the features we'll be introducing very soon. Another feature is feature to clear drafts. So basically, if I work on my drafts, but I decide at some point that I want to just reverse it, it is not working, by simply one click, it will be possible to delete all the changes I have made so far, rather than going one by one and deleting each duty of flight at a time. Another feature which will be fairly useful, for example, if I want to assign crew members to flights, all the crew members that at that time of the flight have any off duty, basically assign flight crew pop up, and each tile will show me, each crew tile will show me that this particular crew member has an off duty on that particular day or a given period of time. So this is quite useful as well. We'll be also looking into adding the actual sim sessions to the schedule, so that training department wouldn't need to switch to ops sections to assign sim sessions, and the crew panels will have a clear view of the simulator sessions for all crew members. Also, we are planning to develop the possibility of adding notes to particular days, flights, and duties. The notes will be either visible to crew members and the crew planners, or to crew planners only. So this is another feature that we are looking into developing in the future. One more feature that we are discussing and looking into adding is adding hotels to crew panel. So all the crew members that are overnighting in bases that are outside of their home base there will be a possibility to add a hotel, and basically the crew planner will have an information that the particular crew member has a hotel planned and booked. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this webinar, and as I mentioned before, we will address all your questions that you have submitted in the meantime. Also, any suggestions you may have to improve this panel, please feel free to forward it to support@Leon Software, and we'll make sure we look at them and analyze them, and if possible develop them as well. Thank you for joining the webinar, and see you at the next one. Have a good afternoon. Goodbye.